A sky above the Pacific Ocean changed on a quiet morning in July. It was not a storm or sunrise that caught people's attention. It was something far bigger. A dark shape moved through the upper atmosphere. Silent, slow, impossible. Radar stations from Alaska to Hawaii lit up with alarms. Military bases went on high alert. No one knew what it was. But everyone knew it wasn't from Earth. In Oregon, a fisherman named Jake Morrow stood on the deck of his small boat. The sea was calm. The air smelled of salt and seaweed. He had been out since dawn checking his nets. Then he looked up. His breath caught. A huge ship hung in the sky above Portland. It was black like oil and shaped like a curved knife. It made no sound. It cast a long shadow over the city. Jake dropped his net and grabbed his phone. He filmed it. His hands shook. He did not know if anyone would believe him. But he had to try. Far away in Colorado Springs, Dr. Nora Simmons sat in front of a bank of monitors at NORAD. Her eyes scanned data from satellites and ground sensors. The energy readings were off the scale. This was not just a ship. It was a fleet. One main vessel in high orbit, 3 smaller ones hovering over North America, another near Moscow, one near Tokyo. They were not moving fast. They were not hiding. They were watching. Nora called her team. Get me everything on their frequency patterns. Thermal output. Movement. I want to know what they eat for breakfast, if we can find it. Her voice was calm, but her mind raced. She had spent her life studying stars and signals from deep space. Now one had come to her doorstep. In Washington. D.C. President Daniel Cole walked into the Situation Room. The lights were dim. Maps and live feeds covered the walls. General Linda Pruitt stood at the head of the table. They have not responded to any hails, she said. No radio, no laser signal, no movement toward communication. They are scanning our cities, our power grids, our military bases. Daniel sat down. He rubbed his temples. So they're not here to say hello. No, sir. They're here to assess. For 3 days, the world watched. The ships stayed in place. No attacks, no messages, just silence. People posted videos online. Some prayed, some panicked. Others said it was a hoax. But the truth was clear. Something from beyond Earth had arrived. And it was not leaving. On the 4th day, everything changed. Beam of bright blue light shot from the main ship and struck the desert in Nevada. Sand glowed white. Wind blew in circles. When the light faded, a structure stood where nothing had been before. It was tall, smooth, made of a metal that looked like liquid glass. No doors, no windows, just a single column rising into the sky. Nora studied the images. They built it in seconds. No construction crew, no materials brought in. They created it from energy. This is not just advanced tech. This is magic by our standards. Paul Grant, a former Air Force pilot, now working in defense research, watched the footage in a secure lab in New Mexico. He leaned back in his chair. They're showing off, he said. They want us to know they can do anything. His assistant Elena Cruz typed fast on a keyboard. If they can build that in seconds, what stops them from building a weapon next? Fear, Paul said. They want us scared, frozen, waiting for orders. But Earth did not wait long. The signal came at dawn. Not through radio, not through satellites. It appeared on every phone, every computer, every TV screen. A simple message in perfect English. Submit. You are not ready. Resistance is noise. Words spread like fire. Some governments called for talks. Others began evacuations. A few nations started moving troops. But no one fired a shot. Not yet. In a small town in Kansas, a boy named Derek Lowe saw the message on his laptop. He was 16. quiet, good with machines. He rewired old radios for fun. He hacked school computers once just to prove he could. Now he stared at the words on the screen. Then he smiled. They used English, he whispered. That means they learned it from us. And if they learned from us, we can learn from them. Back in Colorado, Nora worked nonstop. She studied the energy pulses from the alien ship, the way it moved, the way it communicated. They use a kind of quantum signal, she told her team. It's fast, secure, but not perfect. There's a pattern, a rhythm, like a heartbeat. She sent her findings to the Pentagon, to NASA, to every science lab that would listen. They're not just watching us, she said. They're testing us, like a teacher giving a pop quiz. And if we fail, we become a lab sample. Then the drones came, small, fast, shaped like beetles. They flew out from the Nevada structure. Hundreds of them. They scanned soil, air, water. One flew over a school in Reno. A kid named Marcus Bell caught it on his phone. It hovered near the playground. Children screamed. Teachers pulled them inside. The drone did not attack. It just watched. Then it flew away. Not the same thing happened in Berlin, in Sydney, in Mumbai. The drones collected data. They did not harm anyone. But the fear grew. Then, the lights went out. First in Chicago, then Berlin, then Sydney. Power grids failed. Not from bombs, not from storms. From a silent pulse that moved through the air. The drones had done it. A warning. Submit, or lose more. President Cole called. A global meeting. We cannot surrender, he said. If we do, we lose everything. Our freedom, our future, our right to decide our own fate. He gave the order. All nations with defense labs were to work together, find a way to fight back. Not with brute force. Earth could not match their weapons. But with cleverness, with speed, with surprise. Paul was put in charge of a secret team. They worked underground in the Rocky Mountains. Scientists, engineers, hackers, soldiers. Elena was there. So was Derek Lowe, who had been found after a video of him jamming a drone signal went viral. They think we're slow, Paul said in a late-night meeting. They think we panic. They think we'll break. But they don't know us. They don't know what happens when regular people decide to fight back. Derek looked up from his laptop. I've been studying their signal. It's fast, but it repeats. Like a loop. If we flood it with noise, we can blind them. Just for a second. But a second is enough. Nora joined the call from Colorado. I've found something. Their ships use a kind of gravity field to stay in place. If we create a counterpulse at the right frequency, we might make them wobble. Just enough to lose balance. Paul smiled. Then we don't need to beat them. We just need to make them stumble. The plan began. In garages and basements. People built simple jammers from old microwaves and car batteries. Schools turned into workshops. Engineers taught students how to build pulse devices. A farmer in Nebraska used a tractor to carry a homemade EMF generator toward the Nevada site. The world was waking up. Then came the first real strike. The aliens had sent a drone into an old missile silo in Oklahoma. It was abandoned, rusted, forgotten. But deep inside was a Cold War warhead, never removed, never disarmed. Paul's team had planted sensors. When the drone entered the chamber, they triggered a small impulse from a hidden device. The drone exploded in a flash of sparks. But more important, the pulse rippled through the air and hit the main ship for a split second. On the monitors in Colorado, Nora saw it. They felt that. Their signal dropped. Their shield flickered. It was only for a second, but they felt it. The team cheered. Paul looked at the map. They thought we were prey. Now they know we can bite. That night, the alien ship moved. Not away, but lower, closer to the surface. A new beam fired. This time it hit a military base in New Mexico. The base vanished in a flash of light. Gone. No smoke. No fire. Just empty ground. The message was clear. We can erase you. But Earth did not stop. Eric sent the virus into the drone network using a hacked satellite. It didn't destroy them. It made them confused. One drone flew into a mountain. Another landed in a lake. A third started spinning in circles over New York. In Texas, Paul launched a modified stealth drone. It carried a concentrated M charge. It flew low, silent, fast. It reached the alien craft hovering over Dallas. It exploded beneath it. The ship wavered, tilted, then dropped. It crashed into the Gulf of Mexico with a splash that shook the coast. No one could believe it. People ran outside. They hugged. They cried. They shouted. A live stream showed the wreckage sinking into the sea. Earth had struck back. And for the first time the aliens knew fear. They had come expecting silence, surrender, easy control. Instead, they found a planet that refused to break. A planet that fought with mind and will. Planet that would make them rue the day they got too close. The crash in the Gulf changed everything. The alien ship was gone, but the silence that followed was heavier than before. People celebrated in the streets of Dallas and Houston. Videos of the falling craft spread fast. But in the command bunker, beneath the Rocky Mountains, Paul Grant did not celebrate. He stared at the radar screen. The main ship still hung in orbit, darker, quieter. Watching. Nora Simmons called in from Colorado. Her voice was low. They're not retreating. They're recalculating. That strike hurt them. Maybe more than we know. But they're not done. Paul rubbed his eyes. He had not slept in 2 days. What do they want? Us under control or out of the way? In Nevada, the black structure still stood, but now it pulsed with red light. Drones flew out faster, more of them. Not just scanning. Now they disrupted. Power grids failed in Detroit and Madrid. Water pumps stopped in Mumbai. A hospital in Seoul lost backup power during surgery. People died. The message was clear. You hurt us. We hurt you back. President Daniel Cole addressed the nation from a hidden location. The screen showed only his face. No flag, no podium. We will not give in, he said. We will not kneel. Every time they take something from us, we will find a way to take it back. In Alaska, a team of engineers worked in a frozen valley. They had reopened an old seismic station built during the Cold War. Rick Boone, a quiet man with thick gloves and a sharp mind, stood at the controls. If their structure is built on energy, he said to his team, then we hit the ground beneath it. Shake their foundation. They planted charges deep in the rock, not to explode, but to vibrate, to create a wave that could disrupt the alien field. When the charges fired, the earth trembled. Not enough to feel, but enough to matter. In Nevada, the red pulse flickered. The structure leaned slightly, then righted itself. But for 10 seconds, the drone stopped moving. Rick smiled. They don't like shaky ground. Back in Texas, Derek Lowe sat in a basement in Austin, surrounded by old computers and tangled wires. He had caught a signal from the alien network. Not words, but patterns, like a language made of light and sound. He recorded it, played it back, slowed it down. They're talking to each other, he whispered. But it's not speech. It's data. Pure, fast, like thoughts. He built a small device from a router and a car battery. He called it a noise box. It sent random signals into the air, not strong, but annoying. Like static on a radio. He tested it near a drone that was scanning a farm. The drone paused, turned, flew in a circle. then dropped into a cornfield. Derek laughed. They hate noise. He sent the design online. Within hours, people across the country were building noise boxes, in garages, in schools, in prison cells. A group of inmates in Nebraska wired one to a stolen generator and pointed it at the sky. The drones began to fail. Not all, but many. They crashed into trees, flew into rivers. One landed on a church roof and just sat there. Blinking. Paul saw the reports and smiled. They're not gods, they're machines. And every machine has a weak point. But the aliens were not blind. From the main ship, a new beam fired. Not blue, red. It struck the Oklahoma silo where the first impulse had been sent. The ground exploded. The old warhead vanished. The bunker collapsed. Paul lost 3 people that day. Good people. Smart. Brave. He stood in front of their names. Written on a wall. He did not cry. He made a promise. In Colorado, Nora found something strange. The alien signal had a heartbeat. Not literal, but rhythmic. A pulse that repeated every 7.3 seconds. They're not just machines, she said. There's something alive in there. Or many things, linked, like a hive. She sent the data to Paul. If we can match their rhythm, we can trick them. Fool their system. Paul called a meeting. Elena Cruz was there. Rick Boone joined by video. Derek sat with his laptop open. We need to hit them where they feel it, Paul said. Not their ship, not their drones, their mind. They planned a mission. A cargo rocket sat in a hidden launch site in Arizona. Old, rusted, never used. Rick and his team had rebuilt it. They loaded it with a new kind of weapon. Not a bomb. Not a missile. Nanites, tiny machines small as dust. Programmed to eat through alien metal. To crawl into circuits. To spread like a virus. We don't need to destroy the ship, Rick said. We just need to make it sick. The launch was set for night. No countdown. No broadcast. Just silence and fire. The rocket rose. Slow at first. Then faster. It broke through the atmosphere. The aliens saw it. A beam fired. But the rocket was shielded. It dodged. Spun. Kept going. It reached the edge of the alien ship. Then exploded. Not in fire, in silence. A cloud of silver dust spread across the hull. For hours nothing happened. Then the ship flickered. Its light dimmed. Its orbit wobbled. One of the smaller drones near London fell without warning. Then another. And another. Nora watched the data. It's working. The nanites are inside. They're spreading. On the ground, people looked up. The ship no longer looked strong. It looked wounded, but the aliens were not finished. From the Nevada structure, a new sound began. Low, deep, like a drum. The ground shook. Cracks formed in the desert. And a new shape rose. Bigger than the first. Sharp, jagged. It hummed with power. They're building something new, Paul said. And it's not a scanner. The hum grew. Power lines across. The west coast failed. Satellites tumbled from orbit. A plane over San Francisco lost navigation and nearly crashed. This was not defense. This was attack. Paul made a decision. We can't wait. We hit them now. He called every team, every jammer, every noise box, every person with a radio or a phone or a wire. On my signal, you turn it on. All at once. Flood their network. Blind them. Slow them. Give us 1 minute. The plan was simple. Crazy. Maybe suicidal. In Kansas, a farmer named Harlan turned on his tractor with the M device wired to the engine. In Seattle, a group of hackers sent a storm of fake signals into the air. In Cairo, a student pointed a homemade dish at the sky and pressed a button. Paul looked at his watch. 3, 2, 1, now. Every device fired. The sky seemed to stutter. The alien ship shuddered. Its lights went dark for 7 seconds. The hum in Nevada stopped Dot in that moment. Paul launched the final strike, not from the ground. From the sea, Dot, a submarine deep in the Pacific, fired a missile. Not nuclear, not explosive. It carried a core of harmonic crystals tuned to the frequency of the alien hull. When it hit, it would not explode. It would vibrate. Shake the ship apart from within. Dot, the missile flew, fast, silent. Low. Dot, the aliens tried to stop it. Beams fired. Missed. The ship was still blind. The missile struck. A ripple moved across the hull, like a stone in water. Then a crack. Then another. Metal split. Light poured out. Dot, the ship tilted. Dot, slowly at first. Then faster. Dot began to fall. The alien ship fell from the sky like a dying bird. It did not burn. It did not scream. It just broke apart in slow silence. Pieces of black metal tumbled through the atmosphere. Some vanished in flashes of light. Others crashed into the Pacific Ocean with deep booms that shook the sea floor. The main body twisted as it dropped, spinning, cracking, glowing from within. Then it hit the water. Dot, the wave that followed, rose like a mountain. It rolled toward the coast of California. Towns near Santa Barbara saw the wall of water and ran. The wave hit with force, but not total destruction. It flooded streets, knocked down power lines. But the people had time. They survived. Dot, in the command bunker, Paul Grant watched the radar. The signal from the ship faded, then disappeared. He sat back, did not speak, did not move. Elena Cruz put a hand on his shoulder. "We did it," she said. Dot, but Paul shook his head. "We stopped one. That does not mean they are gone." In Colorado, Nora Simmons studied the last data burst from the ship. The signal stopped, but not in panic. It was cut, clean, like a switch turned off. Someone or something made that choice. She looked out the window at the night sky. Stars blinked, quiet, cold. They may be coming back. In Nevada, the jagged structure still stood, silent, dark, no hum, no drones, but it was still there. Rick Boone flew over it in a small plane. "It's not dead," he said into his radio. "It's waiting." Back in Washington, President Daniel Cole called a global meeting, not to celebrate, to warn. "We won this fight," he said. "But the war is not over. They will learn from this. They will come again. And next time they will not underestimate us." He ordered all nations to keep their defenses ready. Scientists to study the wreckage. Soldiers to guard the crash sites. The world had changed. No one could go back to how it was. In the days that followed, teams reached the ocean crash zone. Divers in deep sea suits found pieces of the ship on the ocean floor. The metal was strange, not steel, not anything on Earth. It moved when touched, like it was alive. One piece curled around a diver's glove. He pulled free. The metal did not bleed, but it stopped moving. On land, the pieces were taken to secure labs. Derek Lowe was one of the first allowed in. He touched a shard with a plastic tool. It warmed, then pulsed once. "They built it to survive," he said, "to hide, to wait." He found data inside, not on a chip, in the metal itself, like memories stored in the structure. He built a reader from old computer parts. The first image that came out was a map, not of Earth, of space, with dots, many dots. One was blinking. "Earth. They have been here before," Derek whispered. "And they marked us." He showed it to Paul. Paul stared at the map. "Those other dots, are they planets, maybe, or ships? Or colonies? I don't know. But we are not the only ones they have visited." Nora studied the data too. This was not their first mission. It was a test. They wanted to see how we would react, how strong we are, how smart. And now they know, Paul said. Yes, and they will tell others. The world began to prepare, not for peace. 4. The next time in Alaska, Rick Boone and his team built a new kind of sensor. It could feel changes in gravity, in energy, in the air itself. If something comes from space again, we will know before it lands. He said. In Texas, Paul turned the old bunker into a training center. Soldiers, scientists, kids, anyone who wanted to learn how to fight back. He taught them about signals, about jamming, about surprise. They are strong, he said, but they do not adapt fast. We do. Elena worked on a new shield system. Using the alien metal, she found a way to bounce energy beams, not stop them. Send them back, like a mirror, she said. If they shoot at us, they might hit themselves. In schools, children learned about the event, not as a story, as history, as warning. A boy in Chicago built a small drone in science class, not to spy, to protect. He programmed it to fly in circles around his home and send an alert if it saw something strange. But not everyone believed. Some said the whole thing was a lie, a government trick. Others said the aliens were peaceful, that Earth had attacked. First, protests formed. People demanded the wreckage be returned to space, that contact be made, but most knew the truth. They had come too close, and Earth had answered. And one night something happened. In Wyoming, a rancher named Carl Jennings was checking his fence when he saw a light, small, green, floating above the field. It did not move like a plane, not like a drone. It hovered, then split into 3. They made no sound. They scanned the land, the house, the barn. Carl ran inside, called the local sheriff. The sheriff called the National Guard. By the time the team arrived, the lights were gone, but the ground where they floated was warm, and the grass was gone, burned in a perfect circle. Paul got the report. He looked at the photo. Not the same. Design. Smaller. Faster. This is a new type. Nora checked the sky. No large ship. No signal. This was stealth. A scout. They are watching again, Paul said. Yes. But not from far. From close. The world was put on alert. Not loud. Not with sirens. Quietly. Satellites scanned. Radars listened. People watched the sky. Derek built a new device. A listener. It could pick up alien signals even when they were hidden. He set it on his roof in Austin. One night it beeped. Not loud. Once, then again. He recorded it, played it back. It was not a word, not a command. It was a tone, short, sharp, like a whistle. He sent it to Nora. She ran it through her system. This is not for machines, she said. This is for living ones. It's a call, a signal to others. They are calling for help, Paul said, or telling them what we did. The world held its breath. No more ships came, no beams, no drones, but the feeling remained. They were out there. And they remembered. In New York, a mural was painted on a tall building. It showed the alien ship falling, people standing together, hands raised, not in fear, in defiance. The words below said only this: "We are not afraid." In Tokyo, a song played on the radio. No words, just music made from the alien signal. Slowed down, turned into something beautiful. In Ghana, a school opened a new class, space defense. Children learned how to build shields, how to send signals, how to think fast. Earth had been attacked. Earth had fought back. Now Earth was awake. Paul stood on a hill in New Mexico watching the stars. Elena joined him. Do you think they will come back? Yes, he said. But next time we will. Be ready. Not just with weapons, with mind, with heart. With every person who refuses to look away, she looked up. The sky was clear, full of light. We are not the weakest species anymore. No, he said. We are the ones they should fear. And far above in the silent dark, something moved. Small, fast, gone before it could be seen. Dot watching, Dot learning. Weeks passed and the world stayed alert. No more lights in Wyoming. No strange signals, no drones. The ocean wreckage was still being pulled from the deep. The pieces were studied, touched, tested. Each one gave a little more truth. The aliens were not one kind. They were many, joined by thought, by machine, by something deeper than blood. Derek Lowe found it first. Inside a small shard of whole metal, he saw patterns. Not letters. Not code. Memories, like dreams trapped in metal. He built a device to play them. Soft light formed in the air. Images came. A planet with 3 suns. Cities floating above oceans. Then war. Fire falling from the sky. Machines tearing through streets. The survivors leaving. In ships, searching for new worlds, for safety. For control. Earth was not the first stop. It was the next. They are refugees, Eric said. But not kind ones. They take what they need. Nora watched the vision. They have been pushed from their home, so they push others out. We are not special. We are just in their way. Paul heard the report and did not feel pity. If they came in peace, we would help. But they came with threats, with beams, with fear. They made their choice. Still the question remained. Were they coming back? In Alaska, Rick Boone's sensors picked up a small pulse. High in the atmosphere. Fast. Gone in a second. He checked the data. It was not natural. Not human. Something passed through, he said. Small. Fast. Maybe a probe. Maybe a message. He sent the reading to Paul. Paul looked at the path. It came from deep space. Aimed at Earth. Slowed for a moment, then left. It was scouting. Not attacking, just watching. The world could not rest. In Texas, a storm knocked out power in a small town. People laughed at first, just weather. Then the lights came back on. But not from the grid, from the sky. A soft blue glow moved over the roofs. Slow, quiet, it lit the streets like moonlight. People stepped outside. Children pointed. Then the glow stopped, split into 5. Each one dropped to the ground. They were not ships, not drones. They looked like stones, black, smooth, no edges. They sat in fields, in yards, in a school playground. They did not move, did not hum, did not flash. Paul got the call. We have 5 objects on the ground. No signal, no heat. Just there. He flew to Texas with a team. Elena came. So did Derek. They approached the nearest stone in a farm field. It was cold, darker than night. When Derek shined a light on it, the beam disappeared. Sucked in. It is not reflecting anything, he said. It is eating the light. They waited. Nothing. Then at midnight, all 5 stones pulsed once. A wave of air pushed out. Not strong, but enough to knock a man back. The ground around them turned to glass. Smooth, clear, hot to touch. Then they opened. Not with doors, not with cracks. They unfolded like flowers. Each petal was thin metal, sharp. Inside was a core. Red, soft, beating like a heart. Nora watched. From a safe distance. They are not machines. They are alive. Or part alive. One core blinked, then sent a beam into the sky. Not strong. Not destructive. A signal. They are calling home, Paul said. He gave the order. Surround them. Do not touch. Do not shoot. Wait. They waited 2 days. The cores did not move. The beams stayed on. Aimed at space. Then, on the third night, one core stopped. The petals closed. The stone rose, floated into the air, moved slow, over the town, then faster, into the sky. Gone. The next morning, two more left the same way. The last two stayed. Paul stood near one in a schoolyard. Children's drawings were taped to the fence. A soccer ball sat nearby. He looked at the dark stone. You came to watch, to learn, but you did not ask. You did not speak. You just took. He turned to Elena. If they come back with more, with an army, we cannot fight them in our towns. Not with kids, not with homes at risk. She nodded. We need to fight in space. The idea spread fast. Not a ship. Not one. Many. Built from old rockets, from space station parts, from alien. Wreckage. A fleet. Small. Fast. Armed with impulses. With harmonic disruptors. With noise boxes that could blind alien systems. Rick Boone led the build in Alaska. We launched from the north. Low orbit. Hidden by the planet's curve. Derek worked on a signal jammer. I can make it so they cannot talk to each other, break their link, make them blind. Nora found a way to use the alien frequency against them. If they use gravity fields to move, we can send a pulse that pushes back. Like shoving water with water, Paul trained pilots. Not just soldiers, scientists, engineers, anyone who could fly. We do not need to win a war. We need to send a message. The first ship launched in secret, small, shaped like a dart, powered by a mix of human tech and alien metal. It carried one pilot, a woman named Linda Cho, former Navy, fearless, calm. She orbited Earth, waited. Then the signal came, not from space. From the last two stones, they opened fully, not beams this time. Voices, not in words, in feeling. A wave of thought hit the town. People fell to their knees. Images filled their minds. War, loss, pain, the death of a world. Then a plea. Help. Save us. We are dying. Many wept. Some ran to the stones, wanted to touch them, to help. But Paul saw the truth. It is not just pain, it is control. They are pushing their thoughts into our minds, making us feel for them. So we let them in. He called Linda. Now. From orbit she fired, not a weapon. A pulse, silent, invisible. It hit the stones. The red cores flickered. The mental waves stopped. People looked up, confused. Then clear. The stones tried again. Stronger. But Linda fired a second pulse. Then a third. The cores dimmed. The petals closed. The stones cracked. Then exploded in bursts of dark smoke. Silence. Linda circled once. Then flew back to base. On the ground, Paul looked at the scorched spots where the stones had been. They tried to win with sorrow, with guilt, but we saw through it. The world learned a new lesson. Not all attacks come with fire. Some come with lies, with fake tears, with stolen feelings. But Earth was not fooled. In the weeks that followed, the fleet grew. 5 ships, then 10, then 20. They orbited, watched, waited. Nora found another signal. Faint, far out, coming from beyond Mars, slow, steady. A ship, she said, big, not here yet, but on the way. Paul looked at the stars. Then, we meet them before they reach us. A fleet prepared. Not to attack, not to defend, not to say one thing with fire, and silence and strength. We are not yours, we are not weak, that we are not afraid. The signal from beyond Mars grew stronger every day. It was not a blast, not a threat. It moved slow, steady, like a heartbeat in space. Nora Simmons tracked it from her lab in Colorado. She did not sleep much. Her eyes stayed on the screen. "It is not the same ship that came before," she said to Paul over video. "This one is bigger, slower, older. It feels tired." Paul stood in the command center under the mountains. Maps of space covered the walls. Ships, signals, paths. Tired or not, it is coming here. And we don't know if it brings peace or war. The fleet was ready. 10 ships now orbited Earth. Small, fast, built from old rockets and alien metal. Each one carried a pilot. A mix of soldiers and scientists. Linda Cho led the first group. Rick Boone stayed on the ground to guide them. Derek Lowe sent signals from Texas. Elena Cruz watched the energy fields from New Mexico. They called it Project Shield. Not to attack, not to conquer. To stand in, though. Way. If the ship came in peace, they would speak. If it came in force, they would fight. The world waited. Farms kept growing food. Schools stayed open. Children played. But every town had a siren. Every home had a radio. Every person knew the sky was no longer empty. Then one night the signal changed. It slowed, stopped, then pulsed once. Clear, strong, not in words, in feeling. A picture formed in the minds of those near a receiver. A ship, broken, lights dim. People inside, weak, hurt. A voice not loud but deep. "Help. We have no home. We have no strength. Let us land." We mean no harm. Many believed it. In New York, people held signs. Let them land. In Tokyo, a priest prayed for peace. In Cairo, a group of doctors offered aid. Even some in the government said to open the doors. But Paul did not move. He looked at the data. The signal is clean, too clean. It hits the mind like music, soft, sad, but it is not natural. It is sent on purpose. Derek checked the frequency. Same as the stones. They are using mind waves again. Not to attack, to trick, to make us feel sorry. Nora studied the ship's path. It is not slowing down. Not really. It is just sending this signal. If they were weak, they would drift. They would spin. This ship moves with control. It is faking its pain. Paul made the call. We go out. Not to fight, not yet, to see. To watch. If they are honest, let them show it. The fleet launched. One by one, the ships left orbit. They flew quiet. No loud engines, no bright lights. They moved like shadows. Linda Cho led. Her ship was first, small, armed with a pulse cannon and a jammer. She did not want to shoot. She wanted to survive. 3 days out they saw it. The alien ship filled the sky ahead. It was huge, longer than a city, old, its surface cracked, glowing in dark red pulses. It looked broken, but it moved with purpose. No spin, no drift. It was coming. Linda slowed. Her team waited. No one fires. No one speaks. We watch. The alien ship sent the signal again. Stronger. The pilots felt it. A wave of sadness, of loss. One young pilot started to cry. He reached for the comms. Wanted to answer. Linda shut it off. That is not you. That is them. Pushing into your head. She fired a small pulse. Not at the ship, at the air around it. A scanner burst. The data came back fast. The ship was not weak. Its core was hot. Its weapons charged. Its shields up. The damage on the outside was fake. Layered, built to look broken. They are lying, Linda said. They want us to let them close, to land, to take. She sent the word back. Paul got it. He stood in the bunker, looked at the map, then gave the order. Activate the network. On Earth, every jammer turned on. Every noise box. every signal disruptor. From Alaska to Argentina, a wave of human noise shot into space. Not loud, but wide. It hit the alien ship like a wall. The mine signal stopped. Ship wavered. Its red glow flickered dot, then it fired. A beam of dark light lanced out. Not at the fleet, at Earth, aimed at the Pacific. If it hit, it would boil the water. Kill millions. Linda did not wait. Fire the pulse. Her ship shot forward. The fleet followed. They fired not bullets, not bombs. Pulses of energy tuned too. The alien frequency, the first wave hit the beam, broke it, turned it to sparks. The second wave hit the ship's front. Shield. It cracked, split, failed. The fleet spread out, fast, like wolves. They fired again. Pulses from all sides. The ship rocked. Lights inside blinked. One engine burst in silent fire, but it was not dead. From its sides, smaller ships launched. Fast, sharp, like knives. They aimed at the human fleet. Linda dodged. Spun, fired again. One alien ship exploded. Another lost control, but 2 human ships were hit. Their lights went out. They floated dead. Paul watched from Earth. We cannot lose more. He sent the final signal. From orbit, a hidden satellite turned. It carried a core of alien metal mixed with human tech. It fired a single beam, not at the ship, at the space. Around it. A gravity pulse. The area bent. Like water pulled by a stone, the alien ship slowed. Could not move. Trapped. Linda saw it. Now, the fleet fired everything. Pulse after pulse. Wave after wave. They hit the main ship. Its hull cracked. Metal peeled. Fire bloomed in the void. One engine blew. Then another. The ship listed. Began to spin. Then it broke. Not in one blast. In pieces. Large chunks tore apart. Floated into the dark. Silence returned. The fleet circled. Slow, careful. No cheers. No words. They had won, but they had lost 2 ships. 2 pilots. Gone. Linda looked at the wreckage. They came not for peace, not for help, for control, and we stopped them. On Earth, the signal died. The sky was quiet. People stepped outside. Looked up, saw only stars. Paul stood on a hill. Elena came to him. It is over. For now, he said. But they will tell others. Our name will spread, not as prey, as fighters. In the months that followed, the fleet stayed in orbit. The ships were repaired, new ones built. Schools taught space defense. Radios played warning tones every morning, not to scare. To remind. Derek found a piece of the new wreckage. Inside it was a map, not of space, of Earth, with marks, cities, power plants, water sources, invasion points. They had planned it all. Nora looked at it and said nothing. She put it in the archive. With the others. The world changed. Not in fear. In strength. When a light was seen. Near Jupiter 2 years later, the fleet was ready. They did not wait. They went, and they carried a message. Not in words. In action. We are here. We are watching.